You're in the hospital. I know their names, and I know where they're from. The girl with the braid. Abby.
What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all of that beautiful YouTube stuff. Hope that today is the day that we earn that subscription. The march to 500 subscribers continues, but let's get into it today. The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 3. Now, a lot of people were wondering what was going to happen after the last episode, the fallout of Joel's death. And here we see the beginnings of how this affects a lot of different people in the community. We do pick up with Ellie basically in the hospital after, coming home with Joel's body. With Jesse and Dina. And when she kind of wakes up, she sees the image of what was done to Joel, and she starts screaming, having a triggering emotional state until she had to be subdued with like a sleeping agent through a needle. We also see Tommy conversing with Joel's body, so to speak, because we don't physically see Pedro Pascal outside of that flashback moment that Bella had, or Ellie, I should say. Outside of that, we don't see Joel in this episode at all. Within the, like I said, the 5-second flashback. We jump forward 3 months and we see the community being rebuilt, the gates being rebuilt, the wall. And it seems like it's time for Ellie to go back home. She must have had such a hard time dealing with this between her issues physically and mentally. She may have even had a collapsed lung, to where she finally is able to get home, but she has to talk to Gail, Catherine O'Hara's character, the local therapist. And basically, Elle pretends like she's fine and everything's great, and it's all peachy keen, right? You don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm not messed up anymore. And, Gail being in the business as long as she's been, as far as being a therapist, she knows it's BS, but she clears Ellie anyway and lets her go home. And when Ellie gets home, you can kind of see the apprehension about even entering the house, because don't forget, at one point she was living in the garage. And so to go into the house without Joel there, she just wanders around, sees some of the wooden sculptures he was doing. She even stops and is able to inhale some of his scent that was left over on his jacket that was there still. And she sees a box there that's meant obviously for her, and it's Joel's broken watch and his handgun. And the handgun kind of brings her back to what her plan is, what her want and desire is, and that's for revenge. Okay. At that particular time, Isabel Marcet's character Dina shows up and wants to talk to Ellie about the information she knows. Okay. And she explains to Elle the reason why she didn't mention this particular information before was because she wanted her to recover fully before bringing this information to her. And basically, it's information about, um, the fireflies and everything, and what was done to Joel and where they were possibly going. And Ellie does get mad, but however understands that if they were going to go after these people, they needed to for sure be fully strength and be able to mentally prepare for this journey too. And it brings them to talk to Tommy about possibly having a vote at the council meeting to see if they can send people to Seattle to look for these others that took Joel from them. And Tommy says that he will back her up, and basically saying the reason why he's not doing it is because of the responsibilities that he has at Jackson. And I understand that some of these things are going to be divergent from the game, like this particular thing. I guess in the games, Tommy did try to seek out his own revenge. But in the show, they're deciding not to do that particular aspect. And so we also see Ellie talking to Jesse, played by young Mazzino, and you could tell he's not really going to probably vote her way because he's like, people are not going to want to vote for angry, you know what I mean? And it shows at the council meeting because when it's brought up, there's a few people that say that, like, yes, Joel was a member of us, but after everything that happened, you want to send 16 of our best that are remaining for a mission that they may not even come back from, and you know, I don't know, that just people were not feeling it. The only one that was really feeling it was the old man who called her a slur in episode 1, called her a slur for a lesbian woman, and it seems like that really wasn't within his normal parameters because he stands up for her, and it's like, Joel's are now he's not understanding that they're not going to come back because he accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. But in a sense, he's feeling like he doesn't know that, right? He doesn't know that they got their revenge on Joel and never coming back. He feels like now that they know where they're at, they can come back anytime and do this to them. So that was where his main concern was at. And Ellie was surprised a little bit to hear him stand up for her like that because even though he apologized to her in episode 2, she didn't really accept that apology too much. She took the bigot sandwiches, so to speak. and but in this particular episode, and especially later on, he was there for her more than the other people who were nice to her face and didn't call her names or whatever like that. So after the council meeting is done, we see Ellie go home and prepare to go on her own. Dina comes and basically is telling her, like, you need to prepare better because I know you're going to wind up going anyway. And she's like, you're going to go cross country in a pair of Converse. And you're not going to have this, you're not going to have that. What are you doing? How are you planning? So Dina says she'll go with her and has come up with a plan, a route to get to Seattle to go find the wolves and the fireflies who aligned themselves with the wolves after they left, killing Joel. So they decide to go. They decide to go on their revenge quest for Abby and for those who took Joel from them. Because Dina said, I loved Joel just as much as you did. Or at least as because it's not a competition like that. Because Ellie was with him for the last 5 years as a daughter, and Dina kind of came across him after moving into Jackson. But whatever the case may be, she still has a connection to Joel and wants to do this with Elle. And so they go and they start traveling cross country to Seattle. Another thing I wanted to bring up in the meantime was there's this scene of this group called the Seraphites or the Scars, and each member has like a little scar coming down on each of their cheek. And we've seen a group of them traveling in the woods in Seattle, and there's a conversation between a daughter and her father about the person who created their religion, so to speak, and what her intents and purposes were for doing that, especially being that she had passed away and can't really answer those questions herself, and talk about the safety net, the parents, the illusion of the safety net of feeling safe. Because at one point, the daughter asked to carry a hammer for safety, and he asked her, "Do you feel safer?" And he kind of explains how safety it depends on how you think about safety. But and they converse through whistles and stuff like that, and there happened to be a whistle to alert them that the wolves were coming. So the wolves and this group seem to have issues. And so when Dina and Ellie finally make it to Seattle and come across this group has now been massacred by the wolves. And initially, Ellie's thinking it's Abby and her group, which in a way she's right, but we don't know if it was specifically Abby and her group or not. Just that was the wolves. So they're even able to they even have the capacity to take out kids. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. When maybe this group will be taken down and be satisfactory, we'll see. We'll see. Um. Also, I want to just say that Dina was thinking that there wasn't many of these wolf members, and we see at the end of this episode they're rolling in tanks and rolling by the dozens just for one little squad group of them. A tank, my guy. They're rolling around in tanks in the middle of the road. So I think that there's not many of them has been. She's totally underestimating their ability to do this, and I think they're going to realize that once they start coming across these people. Um, but real quick, the old man um, that Ellie had a problem with initially, he was the one that ended up giving them the horse and the supplies and the proper footwear and wardrobe to get going to make this because he feels like this is the right thing to do. So he gave her and them his extra supplies that he's been saving for such an event. He gave them for this particular trip. So I think this guy has definitely redeemed himself from episode one, in my opinion. You let me know down below what you think. The cross country trip, the cinematography was great. It was beautiful. To be able to just see these sweeping natural nature shots are amazing. When they finally get to Seattle, that shot was great. The last thing I kind of want to talk about real quick is that during a rainstorm, Dina and Ellie had to camp earlier than anticipated, and they talked about the kiss that they had. And Dina was making it like it was no big deal. And Ellie had to try to make it like it was no big deal either because, if she's not making it a big deal, you don't want to try to make it a big deal. But Dina said something to the degree of like, well, you're gay, because she wanted her to rate the kiss. and she got mad at the rating. But she was like initially like, "Well, you kissed other girls to compare. Like, you're gay, I'm not. You know." But this is where people. It's interesting take on the fact that she doesn't feel like she's gay, but was willing to kiss a woman. I'm kind of curious if any females or any females come across that have that similar thought process. Leave me your thought process down below on that, or just anyone leave your thoughts down below of that thought process. That you'll kiss someone of the same gender, but not even consider yourself bi-curious. Even I don't know, but you could tell that bothered Ellie a lot. Um, and she rated it a 6 out of 10, and then we kind of moved on from it. But you could tell that Ellie wasn't too pumped to hear that Dina wasn't taking that too seriously, and it's actually back with Jesse. And I guess, to my understanding in the game, Dina winds up becoming pregnant by Jesse. I guess I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen in this series, but we'll see. And pretty much the last scene is us seeing the wolves rolling down Main Street in a tank and dozens of troops. So we're really going to see what happens next week and where this starts going. You can we're gonna ask ourselves if Ellie can carry this show, and it's gonna be hard to tell in the next few weeks. I think that's why they're adding some of the people that they're adding to help alleviate Bella's the heaviness of that role she has to carry now for being the main protagonist. But that's my thoughts on episode 3. Let me know down below, guys, what you thought. And until next time, peace, Nickums.